Cool. So we know who is this for actually. My plan is to build it for my social media associate so that she can have better ideas on social media for Task Drive for my company, right? We're creating a new GPT. So in when you're building GPTs, the first thing that you see is this configure section. We arrive in this configure section, and on the left there is a button called create. Okay, these are two different spaces, by the way, of building. I'm going to show you. And then on the right you have the preview. The preview is really where you can actually start testing so that you can test and iterate on your GPT. Okay, very important, very important, but not in the beginning because we don't have anything yet to test. Okay, so the create section, I think this is like I'd call it, in a nice way. Like there's the dummy proof books. I have one here, Logic Pro X for Dummies. So the create section is really dummy proof. Okay, it's actually chatting to GPT builder so that it starts building it. Okay, which I don't like it. And I tell you why. The other day, I spent, what was it, Eileen? I spent an hour. I spent an hour building my newsletter assistant, talking to it and telling all the things I wanted to be done. And then the instructions that it came up with was just this small. And that really drove me crazy because I guess I'm not just the basic user anymore. I'm a little bit more advanced. And that really, drive me nuts. So you can start it here. It's very good to find a name and do an image. Okay, so let me just zoom in a little bit. Okay, and I wish I could close all these. Let me turn these off very quickly so that I don't know if the Grammarly is going to turn off. No, okay, let's keep that. So here, the first question is going to ask, what would you like to make? We said we're going to make a social media associate or assistant. I'm going to call it the social media. I want to, and I'm going to do another trick if this works. 1 second. I want to build an assistant for my social media associate at Task Drive. Okay, so I just dictated it so I don't have to type because I'm a bad typer. All right, so we've said it. So what it does already, it's updating the GPT. As you can see, it's building itself, right? By just speaking to it. I spoke to it, but you can also text to it. Right, so it's not going to last long. It's going to come now. And what it's going to do potentially is going to come up with a name first, or it's going to ask me a couple more questions. Okay, so let's see. How about here we go, call this GPT social media helper. Yeah, okay. Well, it's not bad. Do I have another name in my mind that says, yeah, I was thinking social media assistant. Let's do that. I was thinking to call it social media assistant. All right, so I entered that information. So now it's gonna think again a little bit, and then it's gonna go bloop, 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 bloop. It's gonna do a little thing. Oh, it's already started to generate a profile picture. Great. So what it's doing is tapping into its own technology, which is DAL E3, right? It's an image generation technology model, and it's building a profile picture. The profile picture is so that it gives, here on the top left, as you can see, it's empty. Ooh, let me see if I can zoom in. It's empty. So that's gonna become something else now. Do you need a special type of feature to be able to talk to it? Oh, that's an awesome question. Well, no, actually, this is this is a setting from the Mac, right? It's a shortcut on the Mac so that you don't type. It's more like a setting to help people that can't type and stuff like that. So I have it active, and I have it on two little clicks, which is Control Control, and then the mic appears, and wherever I am, I can just dictate to it. It's a dictation kind of setting. But you can have different Chrome extensions that you can do that. And also, by the way, the mobile app of ChatGPT is incredible because there's all like voice chat and stuff like that, and people make fun of me because I talk to it sometimes half an hour. I have meetings with it, and they're like, "Who are you having a meeting with?" I'm like, "Well, with ChatGPT." I have actually a blog post about how to have a meeting with ChatGPT, so check it out on my blog, blog.timchecker.com. Oh, I like it. Okay, I'm gonna say yes. This is good. I'm just typing now quickly. All right, so we're happy with the profile picture. Great. So now what I love is where we start getting into a little bit more the meat, right? What specific tasks should it prioritize in assisting with social media activities? Okay, well, that's very simple. Here we go. You ready? We're going to dictate this one to be quick. Let me see. I want it to help with creating LinkedIn posts, creating ideas for LinkedIn posts, creating content for YouTube webinars, for LinkedIn webinars, to be able to repurpose blog items from our Task Drive website. I wanted to also have ideas about videos. I wanted to also edit drafts that we have. I wanted to be able to do anything that is needed to have a successful social media strategy. So I've typed that, and on the side, I think by mistake I had typed it. So on the side, you can see that what's the best time to schedule posts. Apparently, I clicked that by I said that by mistake there. But anyways, we don't care about the testing right now. We're focused on the left. Okay. So I have dictated that I wanted to help with creating LinkedIn posts, creating ideas for LinkedIn posts, creating content for YouTube webinars, LinkedIn webinars, repurposing blog items, and so on. Cool. So it says, now that we've outlined the task and priorities, let's talk about tone and voice of communication. How do you want social media assistant to communicate? Should it be formal, casual, or somewhere in between? That's awesome, because it's for Task Drive is somewhere in between. If it was for myself, it's very casual, right? But I don't want also Task Drive to be too formal. Okay, so I can say that. Well, it's for a B2B company, so I'd like it to be a bit casual, but not too casual friendly. That is silly, and definitely not super formal, because it's not for Fortune 500s. It's not an enterprise company; it's a SMB, and we are really friendly people at Task Drive. So I've given it a little bit the brand voice, as Alex, I think it was Alex was asking earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Alex was asking. So I gave it a little bit of brand voice, as you can see, but I could definitely upload or even bring copy and paste more about Task Drive's brand voice later. Oh, iCast love the colors, which is awesome. I'm glad. Yeah, I think the colors are cute. I like a bit more orange than pink. Like I like blacks and orange, and a bit of like sage blue and sage green and blues, stuff like that. Um, so how many custom GPTs would you suggest a small business have? That's a great question. Well, to be honest, it's according to how many use cases and how many problems would you like GPTs to solve. So what I say in the beginning, I think the first thing to do, I'm just gonna make myself a tiny bit bigger while I'm talking about this, so that we can put that question up, because it's a really good question. Okay, so the idea is that if you can start building a GPT as an assistant to anybody, right? So I have a GPT for, like, right now what we're building is an assistant to my social media associate, so that she's like an assistant of marketing, right? Because she does social media, and she'll have her own assistant. What we saw the examples earlier from Oliver, our head of operations. He built an assistant to our SDRs. We're building one to our HR, right? We're building one for our lead researcher. We're building one for our operations. We're building one for the CEO, whatever. So that first assistant you build is incredible. That's already a huge start. And then you can really start going a little bit more niche and go like this. iCast Enterprises is, I would think about, what would be your dream team if you had all the budget and you could hire anyone you wanted, right? How would your marketing team look like? You'd have somebody for the webinars. You'd have somebody for the newsletters and blogs, for content that is text content. You'd have somebody for social media. You'd have somebody for partnerships or affiliate marketing. You'd have somebody for I don't know what. You'd have, let's say, five people in your marketing team, right? Why don't you build five GPTs? They're very specific, and then you suddenly have a team of marketers. Yeah. How could I incorporate this method to help build out my or social media and marketing? I'm not sure I understand the question. Is that to build your own social media and marketing GPT? If that's the case, this is exactly what we're doing right now. So you could just copy this and do the same for yourself, and that would help you all country off road. So Oliver, weekly client reporting GPT. Wow, Oliver is going even deeper, right? And I love him, because our head of operations, he goes even deeper. So he goes for a big task, which reporting to clients every week, right? And he builds one for that, so that it has all the ins and outs and feedback from all departments involved, which is amazing, right? So really, it's up to you. You can go a little bit more, no more to the point, just getting our brand noticed. I don't No more to the point, just getting our brand notice. I am not sure I understand Old Country or Fraud. How can I help? GPT is gonna help you do stuff, so you're still gonna have to do it. So you can build yourself an assistant, a marketing assistant, and so on, right? And if you do that, then you can talk to it and say, hey, can you give me 10 LinkedIn posts, and then you can go do them. Yeah, you can build a marketing assistant, like exactly what we're doing now, but you wouldn't do just social media. You do more a marketing assistant. It could be a bit more generic, and it could do a bit of social media. It could prepare webinars. It could prepare. I think you're on YouTube, so it could prepare YouTube descriptions, right? It could prepare YouTube ideas, scripts, YouTube posts or whatever, like things like that. You could ask it to do. I'm going to show a little bit of that now. So let's continue that if that's okay. All right. So we're building at the moment our social media assistant, which is an assistant, a GPT assistant to our social media associate, right? And time flies when we talk about GPTs. No worries, old country. I was confused, and I'm on quite heavy painkillers, so I think that's not helping today. Sorry about that. But yeah, send me a message. I'd be more than happy to help as well. By the way, um, I will be building my GPT team today. Yes, the insurance educator, go build your team now. And if you need help, go on my newsletter, ping me, send me a message. I'll be happy to test them out, and I'll give you some feedback as well. Right? And please do give me feedback on mine. Go test them. So what is asking me now, the GPT builder is asking me next, is there anything specific you'd like social media assistant to avoid when interacting or providing assistance? That's an awesome question, because there's a lot of things that GPT and ChatGPT does that we all hate is assumptions, right? And fluff and saying silly stuff, right? So we're gonna talk about that now to it. So I'm gonna say, I would like to make sure that it avoids any assumptions. So no assumptions. Always ask for clarification before doing anything. Right? Do not assume. Also, I would like it to make sure that there are no fluffy words and marketing jargon and BS. So I think BS it didn't understand, so it is NBS. I don't know if it's gonna understand if I take the N out. Let's see. Okay, BS. You know what it's short for, guys. So I'm not gonna say it here on the live streaming. But it asked me what you don't want it to do, right? To avoid. So I'm gonna add that. Awesome. ICAST and insurance educator are gonna have an army of GPTs by this evening. I tell you. Awesome. Go do it. I'm very excited for you guys. Yeah, because it's really a game changer. It's a game changer. So please do follow my LinkedIn. I do share a lot of stuff about all this in my newsletter. Again, it's all free content for all of you, right? So go do that. Okay, amazing. Final question. Finally, how would you like social media assistant to personalize its interaction? Should it reference specific industry trends, user preferences, or any other personalization aspects? Yes, our industry is very specific into outsourcing repetitive work to virtual assistants, but with the power of AI. So we are in the AI space, we're in the productivity space, but also in the outsourcing space. And our preferences is, friendly tone, not too formal, but not also very silly informal, as I mentioned earlier. And personalization is, by making sure asking the right questions, to not have any assumptions and not make it generic AI content. Cool. So I'm gonna send that, okay, and then I'm gonna show you what is done. It's built. Is updating the GPT again, as you can see. Right, that's been updated again. Cool. So here we go. Social media assistant is now fine-tuned to cater to the AI productivity and outsourcing industries, focusing on providing tailored, relevant advice without assumptions. I love it. It will maintain a friendly yet professional tone. That's exactly what I wanted. Asking targeted questions to deeply understand user needs and preferences. Feel free to test social media assistant in the preview on the right. Oh, it's telling me what to do now, right? So now we go to the right section, okay, and we can test. But before that, what I want to show you what happened is these conversations we had on the left, that conversation has filled up the instructions, right? So when you go and configure, you see the instructions, you can open them up. Suddenly it's filled these instructions. It's not huge. This is why, as I mentioned, it's a great starting point. But from here, what I would do is I would say, here's an example of a LinkedIn post. Here are some keywords. So here's what we're doing, what we're not doing. Here's an example of a webinar description. And I would keep filling this up myself instead of just using the create. The create is awesome to get you from that zero to one, so something is working. But I think to get 1 to 100 is really the configure section. Okay, it's filled up the instructions, it's filled up the description, of course, the image, as you can remember in the beginning, with the beautiful pink colors, right? And it also brought some conversation starters. The conversation starters, it's so that you're not stuck when you arrive, and they're always ready here. It's like, how can I improve engagement on my post? Can you analyze the performance of my last campaign? What's the best time to schedule posts? Suggest hashtag for my next post, right? So stuff like that. So good to hear that, Lila. I'll put that out there, that I'm helping people. That's why I'm doing these. I want to help you all. Cool. So conversation starters are there. And as you can see on the bottom left, it's chosen some capabilities already. It's chosen web browsing, which is great. It's chosen image generation, which is also cool because we can get some images for the blog post or for the LinkedIn post. But it hasn't chosen code interpreter, so it doesn't think that we'll upload documents to it or something like that. But to be honest, I'm gonna put this for this use case. All right, I'm fresh and I'm back. Here we go. Cool. So we've added code interpreter because we can upload files to it. Okay. And why I would do this on social media is because there might be a document we created with a few examples or with few social media posts that was already done. I know that my social media associate uses spreadsheets, sheets on Google, and she builds drafts, right? And she'll be able to export it as a CSV from Sheets, and she'll be able to import it here, right? And say, hey, can you check out my post? Which ones do you think is good? Or can you help me optimize them, right? So if she wants to be able to do that and upload a file, then she needs that capability. So I've said that to yes. There is no knowledge document, as you can see. We could do the same thing I've done with my content crafter to say, here are top 10 LinkedIn posts that worked for Task Drive. Here are top 10 newsletters. Here are top 10 articles. Here are XYZ, right? You can upload all these files, and these files are also in the back of the instructions as a knowledge. And when you say to the instructions, you say, if I ask you best LinkedIn post, make sure to refer to that document called, right? And then you say the name of the document, and then the instruction, it's like a human, right? It says, oh, okay, somebody asked me about my LinkedIn post. Then it says, okay, let me check, because of my instruction I was told, right, to go check this document. And then it's going to go open up the document, and when that happens, it goes, there's a little round circle comes in, like a loading thing, and it says checking document, checking document, and it goes, it checks, and it comes back, it says, well, I've analyzed that document, and here is the best post, or here's how to do it, here's things like that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to ask it, can you give me 10 LinkedIn ideas, because I'm stuck today and I need to do a post about GPTs and our webinar and our upcoming webinar. Right. So now I'm prompting it that, but what happens, what it's doing is that it has all that instruction and has all that we given it, right? And it's going and it's starting to give me a few ideas already. Educational teaser post, behind the scenes sneak peek, and it's going to know that we're in the AI and outsourcing industry. It knows all the instructions we gave. I mean, our instructions are not life changing because they're not super advanced. I would do even more. I would make them even more advanced. But a lot of things are already happening, right? So this is perfect, because if I was stuck in my job, right, and I was like, oh, I'm not very creative today, I don't have an idea, or I didn't sleep well, or I'm on painkillers, like me, and I don't know what post to do. Here we go. We found already a bunch of ideas, and then you can start here just to show you a little bit. Okay, let's draft 7. It says it's an infographic. So I'm just going to tap in a little bit also into the visual part of it, just to show you that it can do some visuals. So here we go. We're getting a draft, okay? And because we have our brand voice a tiny bit, very tiny bit there about friendly and not so formal and stuff, it's gonna do that, okay? Which is amazing. Amazing. Okay. And if I had more descriptions, hashtags to use, things not to use, and so on, it'd do even a better job. This is why I spend a bit more time on the instructions. Today We've been here already an hour 10 minutes, but a good GPT will take you 8 to 10 hours. If you really want it to be good, an hour here to start it, an hour next week or in a couple days when you're like, oh, I wanted this, I wanted that. Couple more hours when you're like, oh, now I wanted to do advanced stuff, and then you keep testing it. That's another hours, a couple hours, so that's 6 hours. Let's say 6, 7, and then you give it to people, and then people testing it out. I tried to do this and it didn't do this well. Why did it not do that well? And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to put that into my GPT, right? So that's also where magic starts happening. But as you can see, it's done something awesome. It has something good. Yeah. So I'm going to ask here, can you give me a banner for this post? A visual, right? Because it has visual capabilities, you're just going to give that as well. Here we go. So of course, as if you know, image generation with AI, uh, it sucks at text. It absolutely sucks at text. Look at that. Generative pre-tied. Thumbs more thumbs. Or maybe it's a great language that it understands, but we don't understand. And then it goes into weird stuff, right? So I would say no text, but I love the visual, right? So you could say no text, I love the visual, and then you can add text on Canva yourself, right? But it did an image as well, or it tried to do an image that was representing our webinar, which is a good start. Okay.